Feb 2026. Faculty Prasad. Next topic, Spring Boot Varam. Right. Spring Boot Varam. Online, are you okay? Right. Okay. So, Spring Boot Varam. What do you mean by Varam? Varam stands for Object Relational Mapping. Okay. Object Relational Mapping. So, what do you mean by object relational mapping? Why it is? What is the benefit with object relational mapping? So, everything we can discuss in detail. Okay, first, understand the concept. See, before going to ORM, what is the problems in the JDBC? Okay, mostly everyone able, maybe you already completed, I think so, right? JDBC. See, every time the query is what? SQL dependent. That is database dependent. JDBC related applications always, JDBC related applications always database dependent. Okay. There is no transaction management properly. Okay. So, and there is a problem with to change from database to database. It is not that much easy in the JDBC. That's why we are looking for what? Another technology. Getting my point? So, after completing that JDBC, as per the regular course, we should go for Hibernate. Okay? Hibernate is like a theoretical discussion. The practically we are going for a what? ORM. Object relational mapping. Okay. So there is a lot of ORM technologies are there. One of the ORM technologies is nothing but what? Hibernate. Okay. So we are discussing about what Hibernate only now. But not exactly like what? Some Hibernate related configuration files, Hibernate related stuff. But in the coding level, you are using Hibernate. But in the structure point of view, Spring Boot only. Getting my point? Okay. So mostly it will cover that Hibernate also. Right? Okay. So in ORM, what is the object relational mapping? Okay. Let me give the clarity here. ORM stands for what here? Object relational mapping. Okay, first understand the concept, don't buttify. Okay, there is an object. How you are going to create the object? If you want to create the object, first of all, what is the required? Class is required now. Yes or no? Right? If you have the class, inside the what you required, tell me. Variables required now. Some methods are something. Yes or no? So that object means what? Okay. If you are in the object here, in the bottom level, we should require the class. One more bottom level, inside the class variables are required or not. Getting my point? So whether directly or indirectly, class should be there. Getting my point? Okay. Coming to relational. So if you want to provide the relationship between Java to database software, Java to database software, something is required. Okay. So here this relational is representing what? Object, sorry, database only. Okay. Object, whether directly or indirectly, representing what? Class. Getting my point? Object is representing what here? Class. For your understanding point only, it is not exactly. Okay. For your understanding point, if you want to create the object, then what is the requirement? Class is required or not? Tell me. Okay. Required. So inside the class, without variables, without methods, without anything, just public class, test, open brace, closing brace. Is there any useful for that class? No, na. Without variables, without methods, why you are going for to create the class? Getting my point? So when you are talking about the object, internally class is there. When you are talking about the class, internally there is a variables with some methods. Getting my point? That is what? Object. So now finally conclusion, if you are discussing about the object, class is there. Okay. Next one, the relational is always representing what? Database. For your understanding point, I am telling. Mapping means what? Link. Getting my point? Link. It means you tell me the answer. What do you mean by ORM? There is a class, there is a database. We are going to what? Giving the link. That is called OR mapping or ORM. Clear? Hello, guys. Okay. Sir, how you are going to give the link? Simple. Simple. Let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one thing. Sir, Hibernate is not completed for me. Or Hibernate, I don't know. Then what? How can I understand? Nothing here. Okay. Listen. Public class, some EMP being, that is employee being class. Inside, sorry, there is a private integer EMP ID, private string e name. Chalta. Private double ESAL. Okay. After that what? There is a setters and getters something. Okay. Right. This is what my class. Okay. Right. Then that's what, sir. Sai Tarun. That is what I am telling. Okay, you can easily understand. Don't worry. If you understand this diagram, you know at least 50% Hibernate. Okay, na? Sai Tarun, are you okay? Okay, right. So this is my class. So this is my database. This is what my database. Okay. So in that database, my table name called what? Employee. Employee table. Okay. Inside this employee table, I have what is that EMP ID? That is ENO. Okay. Next what? Or else. Let me give like this. Okay, right. So here my column names ENO, E name, E name. Okay, it is added ESAL. Okay, right. So here I have employee ID 101, employee name A, employee salary 100 or 1000. Okay, fine. Employee ID 102, employee name B, employee salary 3000, employee ID 103, employee name is what? C, employee salary 5000. That's okay. Clear? So this is what my database. This is what my database software. This is what my class. Okay. Entity class. Okay. Entity class. What is this? Entity class. Okay. Right. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm providing link with what? My POSO class or my entity class with what? My database table name. And my employee ID is going to mapping with what? Employee number. Next, my employee name is going to mapping with what? My E name is going to mapping with what? The E name. Next, what is that? Employee salary. What? Clear? What do you understand about that? OR mapping. We are discussing about what? OR mapping. OR mapping means what? It is going to mapping with what? It is going to mapping with what? Our class with what? Our class with what? Database table name. Our each variable is going to mapping with what? The respective column. Getting clear? This is called var mapping. Simple. This is called as what? OR mapping. OR mapping. Object relational mapping. Clear? Object relational mapping. Simple. Our POSO class or maybe our entity class is going to mapping with what? Database table name. And our each and every variable, that is EMP ID, is going to mapping with what? ENO. Our ename is going to mapping with what? Ename. Our ESAL is going to mapping with what? ESAL. Sir, here might be have the one doubt. That variable names and database columns should be matched. No need. If you want, you can match. Even though you can give the different names. See, here EMP ID, for example, I given, let's assume EMP name, EMP sal, let's assume. So, in database, I'm giving ENO. Is it matched EMP ID here? There ENO. Is it matched? No. That name and this name totally different. Getting my point? So here EMP ID, there ENO. It is not matching. Naming I'm talking about. Okay. Here let's assume EMP name, let's assume. There in the database ename, let's assume. Here EMP salary, there ESAL. Getting my point? Names between our class with database table may or may not be same. If you want to same, then okay, no problem. If you don't want, even though you can continue, no problem at all. Clear? This is called as what? OR mapping. I repeat once again. Object relational mapping. Whenever you are talking about object, internally classes there are not. Inside the class variables are there or not. Inside, after that variable, some other logic also there, like setters, getters, constructors, default constructor, parametric constructor, whatever it is. Getting or not? Okay. Whenever you are talking about relational, there is a database. Yes or no? Right. So in between our POSO class or entity class or model class, whatever it is, that class is going to mapping with what? Our database table. Right? See our class name with what? Our database table name. Our class variables is going to mapping with what? Database columns. That is called as what? OR mapping. Are you clear? Clear or not? In Hibernate, we are using different files here to achieve this scenario. One is the model class or POSO class, not entity. Entity, it is different. I will tell you what is mean by entity class. Either model or POSO class. Okay. What do you mean? Or bean class. One and the same. Model, POSO or bean class. What is that? Having the private variables with the setters and getter method. That's it. But entity class is different. That means if you are talking about the entity class, we have to add some annotations on top of the class. That means if you want to make EMP bean class as a entity class, you should annotate it with what? @entity. Getting my point? Am I an annotated entity? No, no. Then what? It is normal class. Let's assume. Okay. So in Hibernate related, there is model class. After that, client application, like with main method to perform the transaction, or to inserting the record, or to updating the record, or you want to delete the record, or you want to fetch the records. Okay, there is a client application, there is a model class or POSO class. Okay, these Java files. There is a two XML files are there. One for what? Mapping. What? This mapping. One XML file. Another XML file for what? Database related configuration, like driver class, connection URL, username, password, dialect, right? Some other Hibernate properties also. HBM2 DDL.auto. That is, if you want to create the database table automatically, that option should be enabled. Getting? Okay, totally 4 files are required. The same application, that is, one is the POSO class or model class or bean class. The second one is client application. The third one is hibernate.mapping.xml file. Next, fourth one, hibernate.cfg.xml, CFG configuration. Okay, sir, these names are fixed. No. You can take any name, but you need to tell to the Hibernate engine. Hibernate engine. Where you can tell this Hibernate configuration, see, Hibernate mapping file, you should be tell inside the Hibernate mapping file. Sorry, Hibernate configuration file. I repeat once again. The Hibernate mapping file, you should configure in the Hibernate configuration file. The Hibernate configuration file is coming to mapping or giving the link in our client application. In our client application, along with Hibernate configuration file, our model class also coming to the picture, just like what creating the object, setting the data, that is set EMP ID 101, EMP name some X, EMP salary some 1000 or something. Clear? Okay. This is what the Hibernate related implementation. How many of you understood? Are you clear? Guys, if you are not understand this scenario, you never understand this Spring Boot war. Online, are you okay? Are you understanding? See, if you are doing multitasking, man, basics are basics. Those basics are covering in the beginning class. Later on, we can't cover these basics. We are directly going for what? Application, that related concept. Related concept, application. Related concept, application. We can't discuss again this war mapping. If you are exhibit your laziness while listening the class, I'm seriously telling, you never understand the concept. Okay? Please. Okay, I repeat once again. If you are miss online, anyway, offline people in front of me, what they are doing, I know. Okay, but I don't know about you. Please listen carefully. I repeat once again. Coming to the OR mapping. OR mapping, object relational mapping. Okay, see, when you are talking about that, means, see, in Hibernate, instead of inserting the record into the database, we are inserting what? Object. Getting my point? Okay, that is what OR mapping. Instead of, I repeat once again, instead of inserting the record into the database, we are inserting what? Object into the database. Okay, for your understanding only, I given this diagram here. Okay, right. Object relational mapping. That means when you are talking about the object, internally class is there. When you are talking about the class, internally there is a variables along with what? Some methods like some setters, getters, constructor, whatever it is. Some logic is there. Clear? Okay. So when you are talking about the object, internally there is a class. Agree? Without class, how we are going to create in the object here? That is foolishness, right? So without class, how we are going to create the object? That means there is a class. Then only you are going to creating the object. Yes or no? Right? That is what? Object. Relational means what? See, for your understanding point of view, I'm talking about the relational means like it representing indirectly database. Internally, it is describing about the database. Okay? Mapping means what? Link. Getting my point? It is what? Link. There is a hash map here. Like for your understanding, hash map is there. Okay. It is going to mapping with what? Key with value. Na? There is a key. You are going to link with what? Value. Yes or no? Like for your understanding. Coming to our concept, mapping means what? We are providing what? Link. We are providing what? Link between our class with our database table. Not with database table. Okay, when you are talking about the database, multiple tables are there, na? But which table you are going to mapping? Are you going to map all table? No, na. That's why our class name is going to mapping with what? Database table name. Okay, our class variables is going to mapping with what? Database columns. This is called what? OR mapping. Clear? Come to the diagram. Class with what? Table. Variables with what? Specific columns. Clear? Okay. This is called as what? OR mapping. Can you look into the diagram? If you have any doubt, please let me know. I will give the clarity. Online and offline. Whoever. Online. Are you clear, man? Online. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Come to the our notes. Offline. మీకు అర్థమైందా అందరికి? క్లియరా? ఓకే. బేసిక్స్ కానీ మిస్ అయితే జై తెలంగాణ అర్థం కాదు మీకు. మనం కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తాంగా, కోడ్లో చెప్పాలి. వీ హ్యావ్ టు టెల్ ఇన్ ద కోడ్. సింపుల్ యార్. There is a database configuration like driver class, connection one. It is mandatory. These are mandatory. You need to tell where in your configuration file. Simple. Driver class, for example, oracle.jdbc.driver. Oracle driver. It means what? What database it is going to represent? Oracle. Okay. Maybe let's assume com.some MySQL driver. It representing what? Let's assume it representing what database? MySQL database, na? Who is going to tell? The programmer or a developer has to tell. So, hey, database, I am coming from Java. Okay, I am going to connect with you. With you means what? Either Oracle, either MySQL, either SQL Server, either Postgres, either DB2, whatever. That means you are going to providing what? Explicitly configuration. Getting my point? Okay, we'll see coding level. Don't worry. Clear us so far? Offline? Are you clear? Okay. Online? I hope you are also. Right. Come to the concept. OR mapping. OR mapping stands for what? Object relational mapping. I hope you got the clarity. ORM saying what? To perform what? Database related operations. Sir, what operation can perform with what? OR mapping. What operation you did in JDBC? Same in the ORM also. Getting my point? Even though you can, extra also you can able to do that. Getting my point? Caching. You can, am I right? Maybe some connection pooling from transaction management effectively you can manage. Getting my point? That is what? Whatever the JDBC is not able to perform properly, whatever the concepts the JDBC is not able to perform perfectly, the Cybernet or ORM will be taken care of all of them. Clear? That is what. Okay. Right. What is that? ORM stands for what? Object relational mapping. Okay. ORM saying that what? Performing database operations. Database operations. By using what? Objects. By using what? Object. See, instead of inserting record by record, we are directly inserting what? Database our Java class object. Our Java class object. How, sir? Suspense. Okay, right. Objects. Okay. That is save of what? Object, comma, update object, comma, delete object, and etc. Okay, it means save what? It is a method here. Update is a method. Delete is a method. Okay, in that method, what you are passing? Object. Getting my point? So for save means what, sir? Saving the record. Don't think like that. Okay. If we want to inserting the record into the database, our Java side, we have to use the method name called what? Save. There is no insert method. The insert operation will be taken care by save method. Clear? Okay, don't search for what? Insert method. See, in the JDBC template class, while you are performing DML operation for insert operation, what method you are using? Update. For update operation, what method you are using? Update method. For delete operation, what method you are using? Delete. Delete? Update only. I searched for that, there is no delete method. That means what? They fixed. Oh, if you want to perform DML operation, you have to use what? Update. They either insert, update, or delete. Whatever you can do, you have to use what? Update method. Clear? Okay. Here also, if you want to perform the insert operation, don't search for what? Insert method. Okay, you need to use what? Save method. Online. Are you okay? Right. Thank you. Next one. Okay. Next one. JDBs will work on what? SQL query. Yes or no? JDBC will work or works. We can use already worked, right? Works on what? SQL query. SQL query that reads what? Primitive values. Primitive values. Primitive values from object and execute what? Queries. Agree my statement? Agreed or not? You are the JDBC masters here because you completed recently JDBC. Right? The JDBC works on what? SQL query na? That reads what? Primitive values na? Yes or no? Primitive values means what? Primitive variables only you are passing. Right? In the statement, directly primitive variables. In the prepared statement, you are passing placeholders, but you are setting what? Data. Yes or no? PST dot set student number, set student name, student data something na? From what object and executing what? Those queries. Okay, right. Now here how it is going to work internally, our class ORM I'm talking about. In ORM, in ORM, in ORM, in ORM, class with database table. Okay, class with what? Database table. And variables with what? Database columns. Database columns. Okay, then what? Then what? Object to do, object to do, object to do what? Row by ORM. Sorry, ORM. Getting my point? See, in JDBC, it is working on what? Primitive values. Okay, but in ORM, it is going to what? In ORM, class with database table and what? Variables with what? Database columns, mapping. Mapping are in ORM. Okay, mapping. Then what? It means object with what? Row. Clear? In what? ORM. Okay. In general, let me give the something. See, do you want to provide the any queries or select star from EMP, update table, set something, delete table, something? No, nothing. See, need not to define SQL queries. Okay, by the developer or programmer, whoever, one and the same. Okay, it will be taken care by whom? Taken care by ORM. Okay, we are not worried about it here. We are not worried about it. The ORM, it can be taken care. Sir, first of all, let me share something in general topic. See, general one. My symbol understand. There is a some theory. There is some programming. Let's assume programming or API, application programming interface. Oops. Oops, theory or coding? Little confusion. Coda, theory. Okay. That means, very good, Nagendra Manivarma. Okay. So, as per our programming world, theory, for example, inheritance, develop the code, right? You can't develop the code. Before developing the code, what? Already there is a theory, inheritance also. Class, it is also one of the feature of OOPS. Okay, class means what? Something. I don't know. Object, there is some theory. Data abstraction, data hiding, data encapsulation, inheritance, types of inheritance, polymorphism, types of polymorphism. Without theory, how we are going to develop PR program like Meriptega? No, na. Right? So, my statement, it is what? It is theory. What? It is what? Theory. But if you want to implement, then what? You have to use Java. Yes? Okay. Might be you know, oops. What about ORM? 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 It is also theory. Right? If you want to implement, you should go for what? JPA. JPA. Next, you completed dependency injection in the Spring. Yes or no? Okay. So, if you are understand about the dependency injection, that is what theory. Yes or no? Sir, what do you mean by dependency injection? Dependency means what? There is a POSO class variables are there. Those are what? Dependents. We are the dependents on parent. Now. Yes or no? Because there is no job. We are still searching job. If you require at least 10 rupees also, or 100 also, 1000 also, 1 lakh also, who will support you? Your parents, na? Right? You are the dependents to the parent. After few years, it will come what? Reverse. Your parents depend upon you when they are completely stick for third leg. That is stickier. Okay, maybe they cross 80, 90. Then they can't take their personal needs too. Everything, 1 rupee or 100 or 1000 or 1 lakh also, they are depending upon us after few years. Yes or no? Similarly, the dependency injection means what? There is a POSO class variables. We are assigning what values. The dependence is what? POSO class variables. Injection means what? Assigning the values to what? POSO class variables. That is theory. If you want to implement programming level, you should go for what? IOC. Inversion of control. Inversion of control. See, dependency injection or ORM or hoops or whatever it is, these are what? Theoretical discussion. If you want to achieve the coding level, you need to go the respective technologies. Getting my point? Clearer? Okay. Then see, you know servlet request, right? HTTP servlet request. What is this? Just for your understanding, just for brush up. What is this? Class or interface? Okay, online. You tell me. Class or interface? Interface. See here, if you are calling interface, sometimes you are calling as what? HTTP servlet request object, HTTP servlet response object. Are you talking about like that? Yes, no? Now you tell me, is our interface or class? A dilemma. Class now? Class? No, I don't know, man. Okay, you tell. Class or interface? Okay, let me check online. Class. See, servlet is a class. Oi, I am not talking about servlet here. Even your spelling also mistake. I am talking about HTTP servlet request. Whether it is class or interface. Oh, if it is interface, you are talking about what? HTTP servlet request object, na? The object, how you are going to create with the help of class, na? How can you tell it is an interface? See, just I am asking. Then reverse gear. Right? Now you should consider like what? Class. Come on. It is interface. Interview like this only, yeah. In the interview room, the like this only. How I asked you, how I troubled you, in the interviewer also doing like that. But you need to stand by whatever you are delivering the words. If you are like a dilemma, then okay. అబ్బాయి మళ్ళా ఇంకొకసారి అమీర్పేట కానీ కేపీహెచ్పి కానీ వెళ్ళరారా, నువ్వు సెట్ కావాలే కానీ ఏదో కొద్దిగా కన్ఫ్యూజన్ లో ఉండవు, కొద్దిగా ఆడికి వెళ్ళి కాసేపు కొన్ని నెలలు అక్కడ స్పెండ్ చేసి రారా అబ్బాయి అని పంపిస్తాడు. అర్థమైందా? రైట్? మీకు ఏది తెలుసో, మీరు ఏది కరెక్ట్ అనుకుంటున్నారో, అది తప్పైనా కావచ్చు, ఒప్పైనా కావచ్చు, వాట్ ఎవర్ ఇట్ ఈస్, వెదర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ రైట్ ఆర్ రాంగ్, యూ షుడ్ stand by on your words. Advain? Some people like what? Told yes, it is an interface. But whenever I give into that explanation, then what? Dilemma. Oh, class or interface? Class or interface? No. Sir, why you are calling like object? It means this object indirectly to what? Our implemented class only. First servlet or some second servlet or some test servlet, something you created classes, na? For that class, indirectly object, directly it is reference to the HTTP servlet request. Getting my point? Interface never creating the object here. How can you consider this object like it is going to HTTP servlet request? No. Yes or no? right? It is directly reference to HTTP servlet request interface. It is indirectly object to what? Our implemented class. Like first servlet or second servlet, third servlet, whatever you created now, for that class, it is indirectly object. For this interface, directly reference. That's it. Clear? Okay. Sir, we are discussing about the Spring Boot ORM. Why you are going for what? Servlet. Some concept came. Okay. అప్పుడప్పుడు కొంచెం అలాగా just refresh. Coming to the one question. What is the difference between ORM and JPA? What is that? You know answer. ORM is what? Is standard name. Standard. For what purpose? Just what? Theory. Okay. JPA. JPA stands for Java Persistence API. API stands for Application Programming Interface. What do you mean by API? See, most of the guys, sometimes based on the scenario, based on that question, if whenever I ask like, what do you mean by API? If you are in that position in the interview room, what you can tell? What is the answer for API? Tell me, yaar. I don't comment anything. See, if I asked, what do you mean by API? They are simply saying what? Application Programming Interface. Simple, they are telling like that. Array, I didn't ask the abbreviation. I am asking what question? What do you mean by API? Getting? API is nothing but collection of classes, interfaces, and its methods. One way definition. There is a package definition also there. Collection of classes, interfaces, sub-packages. You can use like that. But finally, the API is nothing but. See, let me tell you for your understanding. CMD, command prompt. I want to check APIs. The respective class or interface methods. How you are going to check? Java P, correct. Java profiler you should call. Or maybe Java. Some people calling Java package also. Okay. Java profiler. Java P, java.lang.system class. System class. Okay. This is what fully qualified name here. Okay, then the system class containing what? Some methods, some objects, in object, out object, ERR object. In stands for what? Input. Out stands for what? Output. ERR stands for what? Error. System.out.println. Okay, but this in or maybe out or ERR, these are not object of what? System class. These are belongs to what? Print stream class. Out print stream, error print stream, in system.in. Sometimes whenever you are using scanner s equal to new scanner of system.in, that in object belongs to what? Input stream. Your feeling is what? System.out.println, this system dot out dot. Out is what object? This object is belongs to what system? Or object of the system class. Println method also it is a part of what system? No. We are collaboratively using for to print some console message. Okay, system is a class. Inside we are using input stream, print stream. Getting my point? Okay, these things also you can remember. Okay, finally, why I'm talking about these are objects, these are some methods, something. Right? This is called what? System class API. Getting my point? Clear? Okay. Coming to here, API, I hope you got the clarity. Java persistent API. If ask the abbreviation, you can tell the abbreviation. If they directly ask what do you mean by API, if you want to tell the abbreviation, you can tell. Along with, you have to cover what you mean by API. Get my point? There also, if you tell abbreviation, it is negative for you. Have you understood my language? Immediately ask maybe some short temper person. Have you understand my question? Do you know English properly? Some short temper people ask. See, seriously. Yes or no? That is what? Question first understand. Answer later. తలా తోక లేకుండా ఆన్సర్ ఇచ్చామనుకోండి ఇంటర్వ్యూవర్కి ఇరిటేషన్ వస్తుంది. నువ్వు ఒక్కడవే కాదు ఇంటర్వ్యూకి వస్తుంది వాడికి, అవునా కాదా? ఆ రోజు వాడు 10 మందినే చేస్తాడో 20 మందినే చేస్తాడో తెలియదు. అర్థమైందా? ఇప్పుడు అంతమందిని ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేసేటప్పుడు వాడికి కూడా కొంచెం వాడు మనిషేగా, చీము నెత్తురు రక్తాలు ఇవన్నీ ఉండేగా వాడికి కూడా. వాడికి కొద్ది కోపాలు తాపాలు వస్తాయిగా, వాడు మనిషే కదా. అవి కొద్దిగా పెట్టుకోవాలి దృష్టిలో. మనం ఎలా పడితే అలా ఇంటర్వ్యూ పెట్టాం అనుకో, నీకు వచ్చు ఓవర్ కాన్ఫిడెంట్, ఇట్ వోంట్ వర్క్ ఇన్ ద ఇంటర్వ్యూ రూమ్. నాకు అంతా తెలుసుని కాలు ఎగరేసాం అనుకో, నువ్వు చెప్పే ఆన్సర్కి తలా తోక లేదనుకో, తీసి అవతలకి వేస్తారు మీ ప్రొఫైల్. స్ట్రైట్ అవే ఇవ్వాలి ఆన్సర్. వాడు ఏదైతే అడుగుతున్నాడో అదే ఇవ్వాలి. నాకు వచ్చు కదా అని చెప్పి దేశం మొత్తం తీసుకొచ్చి వాడి ముందు పెట్టమాకండి, వాడికి ఇరిటేషన్ వస్తుంది. అర్థమైందా? ఎంత క్వశ్చన్ ఎలా అడుగుతున్నాడు, హౌ హీఈస్ ఆస్కింగ్ ద క్వశ్చన్, హౌ మచ్ ఐ హ్యావ్ టు ది ఆన్సర్. దట్ ఇంటెలిజెన్సీ యూ షుడ్ బి ఎగ్జిబిట్ ఇన్ ఫ్రంట్ ఆఫ్ ది ఇంటర్వ్యూవర్. అదర్వైజ్ అరే ఐ గివెన్ ఆల్ ద క్వశ్చన్ ఆన్సర్స్ బై వై మై ఫస్ట్ రౌండ్ ఈజ్ నాట్ క్లియర్, అంతా అర్థమైపోతుంది. రైట్? ఓకే, come to the point. Okay, ORM is what theory area as we discussed it. What do you mean by JPA? JPA is what? It is a coding or API. See, it was given by whom? Sun Microsystem. Given by Sun Microsystem. Do you know Sun Microsystem? Sun Microsystems. Okay, it is an organization. Initially Java came from Sun Microsystem. That follows what? ORM. That follows what? ORM. See guys, I'm just encouraging, I'm just mobilizing, I'm just what? Some in the realistic, whatever the mistakes you are going to do, I am what? Correcting. Okay, concept is there, we can cover, but these things also we should understand. What? Let me write the one note. If you're not interested, I don't want to discuss all these things, but it should be mandatory for your interview room. JPA is what here? Coding. We already covered, right? Okay. See, the JPA has given what? rules and guidelines. Rules and guidelines. What these rules? What are these guidelines? First of all, simple. That is what? Annotation. Annotation or interfaces. Okay, right. See, first of all, the programmer follow what? JPA and writing the code. Okay. Then the remaining things will be taken care by whom? Vendor. Okay. Maybe in the interview room, maybe the interviewer may ask one question. Hey, what is the difference between? What is the difference? What is the difference between? What is the difference between what? JPA and what? Either Hibernate or Eclipse Link, Eclipse Link or Top Link and etc. Some other things. Okay, I will cover in the answer. Space. Okay, right. Answer. What is this, sir? First of all, Hibernate, Eclipse Link or Top Link, and etc. are what? Are vendors of what? JPA. See, vendors are what? Third parties. Third parties. Okay, third parties. See, do you know about the vendor? Java vendor is what? Sun Microsystem. Microsoft, sorry, MS Word, MS Excel, something. Vendor is what? Microsoft. .NET vendor is what? Microsoft. Oracle database vendor is what? Oracle. I hope you got the clarity. Vendor means you are also become as what? Vendor. Our Naresh IT also become as what? Vendor. If they may be developed one tool or one technology, one software, and those softwares or those technologies, anything, they release it to the market, right? Then Naresh IT or yourself or myself become as what in the market field terminology? Vendor. Clear? Okay. Now, Hibernate, Eclipse, Toplink, and etc. Whatever it is. Okay. So these are what? Vendors. Vendors. What? Third party vendors. Okay. Even though here in Java side, what is the Spring package? Sorry, Spring URL is what? If you want to download any jar file, or if you want to use some annotation here, or at least you are using one container, being factory container or application context container, where you are collecting these interfaces. Can you tell me? From this Spring framework. Yes or no? What is the URL for that? org dot Spring framework dot. Started or not? See, if start with what? Org. See, the Spring site www.springframework.org. Agree? You can search for that. Not now, after the class. Okay, then while using the respective classes or interfaces, how we are going to import into our application or into our class? org.springframework. If start with what? org. Anything, it may start with what? org. That should be considered as what? Vendor or third parties. Getting my point? If it is developed by the Java people, it should be started with what? Java dot or Java X dot. For example, take the scanner class. What is the package? Scanner class. What is the package name? Util. Okay. While importing that class into our class or into our application, how we are going to import? Import java.util.scanner. Yes or no? Right? Why not in the application context or maybe bean factory containers? Why not following java dot or maybe java x dot? Because it is not implemented by the Java people. It was implemented by the third party, but that third party working together or working with what? Java. Getting my point? That's why. If start with what? org, that will belongs to what? Third party vendors. Clear? Okay. టైం చెక్ చేసుకుంటున్నారా? టైం అయిపోయిందా? కనబడుతుంది కదా టైం. ఆన్లైన్ మీకు చెప్పాల్సిన పనే లేదు. చేతి నిండా వాచ్లు ఉంటాయి, చేతి నిండా సెల్లులు ఉంటాయి. ఓకే, లైక్ ఏ పేజ్ కలెక్షన్ ఆఫ్ క్లాసెస్ ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్. ఎస్. Okay, right. Coming to the concept, what is the difference between JP and Hibernate or maybe Eclipse Link or maybe Top Link? Hibernate or Eclipse or Top Link and etc. Whatever it is, those are called as what? Vendors of what? JPA. That is third parties. Okay, third parties. వాళ్ళు సైలెంట్గా ఉంటారా? ఉండరు. ఏం చేస్తారు? దే కెన్ ప్రొవైడ్ వాట్? ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్, క్లాసెస్, సంథింగ్. ఓకే, వాట్ దే ఆర్ ప్రొవైడింగ్? వాట్? ఇంప్లిమెంటెడ్ క్లాసెస్ ఫర్ వాట్? JPA interfaces. Clear? Okay. Next what? Next, the programmer just what? Follows what? JPA and write what? With any one and vendor related. The remaining code same. Okay. The programmer, let me cover in this as part of this point. Programmer as follows. JPA underwrites what? Underwrites code any one vendor. Okay. Code remains same even if we move from one vendor to another. One vendor to another. This is what? Difference. So finally, what you understood about the JPA? Okay, anyone writing? JPA is what? It is a programming. Okay. So while working with what? That is JPA, you have to use what? Vendors. Okay. Let me give the one conclusion for JPA. Okay. Right. JPA, Java Persistence API. Persistence API. Okay. Is what? Given by whom? Given by whom? Sun Microsystems. Sun Microsystems. Now it is what? Sun Microsystem. Now Oracle. So if you want to download that Java software too, you should go for what? Oracle side. Okay. Next one. This is API for what? API for what? ORM programming. Okay, I'm giving complete picture about the JPA. Right. Next one. The JPA contains what? Annotations, right? JPA contains, if you are missed these basics, then next class you never understand. Okay. Don't time pass online and offline. I'm requesting both. Okay. JPA contains what? Annotations. Annotations. Interfaces. Classes. And etc. And etc. See, that implementation is not fully. Okay. But not full implementation. It won't be there. Okay. You have to override. The override concept is there, right? Polymorphism. The same thing you need to. See, developer has to follow. We already discussed this point. Developers has to follow. Has to follow what? API rules. That is what annotations or interfaces. Okay. And what? And write the code accordingly. Accordingly. Okay. Right. See, this API implementation, that is the implemented classes, is given by whom? Third party vendors. API implementation. That means what? Implementation is nothing but what? Implemented classes or annotations. Annotations, processing code is given by whom? Is given by whom? Is given by third party vendors or third parties. Simply you should call it them as what? Vendors. As what? Vendors. Okay, right. That API implementation is given by whom? Third party vendors. Okay. Okay. So if you want to provide some connections like what? Database connection, we should use what? Some properties, right? Some properties. We should use what? Some properties. Connection properties. Connection properties. What? Driver class na? Driver class. Then what? Connection URL, username, then what? Password. So these are all we should provide. Okay. Along with what? Along with what? These are what? Connection related properties. Database connection related properties. Okay. There is ORM related properties also. ORM properties. Properties. ORM properties. What? What are the ORM properties you should follow? Dialect. What is this dialect? Dialect like what? Class plus what? Generate SQL queries. SQL queries when we perform operations. What operation? Blindly remember DB operations. Okay, performing operations. Sir, first of all, just give me clear-cut picture about the dialect. Dialect is nothing but what? It is a engine. It is a engine between. See, water engine there, right? In agriculture land here, came from the agriculture background. See, mirchi or some paddy, right? Something. Okay. So, if you want to get the water from the Nagarjuna Sagar canal or somewhere, okay, you need to use what engine, right? That engine, it is the mediator between what? That canal and this agriculture land, na? Right? Similarly, here also the dialect doing what? The same job. It is the mediator between what? Client with what? This hibernate environment. Getting my point? What are the hibernate environment you are going to use in your application? Let me tell. Okay. Okay. Finally, conclusion that dialect is what? Engine. Database to database. Different dialect. Even the same database, that version to version, different dialects are there. You should be configured in the configuration file. Okay, right. Come to here. See that dialect. What is the package of that dialect? Package is what? org dot hibernate dot dialect dot database to database. See, now the hibernate also started with what? org. Now you tell me, hibernate it is working with working with Java na, or it is a part of the Java na? Working with Java. Getting my point? Spring and hibernate. It is not part of the Java. If it is part of the Java, it should be comes under what? It should be comes as a one kind of topic or kind of chapter. Let's say collection framework or maybe packaging concept to something. It is not. It is not a part. It is a different part, but it is working together. Hibernate and Java, Spring and Java, right? Okay. Right? Come to here. Stop చేద్దామా? ఇబ్బందిగా ఉందా? ఎవరికైనా ఇబ్బంది ఉందా? ఓయ్, నాకు కూడా కొన్ని పనులు ఉన్నాయి. నేను మనిషినేగా మీకులాగా. మీకు ఎట్లా ఉందో రక్తనాళాలు, నాకు రక్తనాళాలు ఉన్నాయి. మీకు ఎలా ఉందో బ్లడ్, నాకు అలాగే ఉంది. అవునా? నాకు పనులు ఉన్నాయి. కానీ కొంచెం టాపిక్ ముందుకు మూవ్ చేద్దాం. ఓకే, రైట్. వితౌట్ యువర్ కోఆపరేషన్ ఆఫ్ ద ఆపరేషన్ సక్సెస్. యా, ఓకే, రైట్. ఇక నుంచి కొంచెం మీరు స్పెండ్ చేయాల్సిందే టైం. ఓకేనా? రైట్, ప్లీజ్. ఎందుకంటే ఎస్కేప్ చేసి చేయొచ్చు, మరి చేద్దాం. అసలుకే మోసం అవుతుంది, మీ ఇష్టం. ఓకే, ఆన్లైన్ సి ఏదో 49 జాయిన్ అయిపోయారు. ఇప్పటికి ఎంత ఉంది కౌంట్? 41 ఉంది. 8 మెంబర్స్ ఎత్తబడ్డారు. అర్థమైందా? సో 10 నిమిషాలు అయితే వీళ్ళు కూడా ఉండరు. రైట్. సో జస్ట్ సపోర్ట్ యార్, ప్లీజ్, ఐఎమ్ రిక్వెస్టింగ్. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఈజ్ వాట్ ద ప్యాకేజ్ యార్. That is, dialects are what different. Database to database, different dialects. Okay. See, very, very important concepts. Nowadays, without Spring Boot microservices, no interview. అసలు మీకు స్కెడ్యూలే కాదు చెప్పాలంటే. అర్థమైందా? నువ్వు పెడతావు స్ప్రింగ్ బూట్ మైక్రో సర్వీసెస్, మన దగ్గర స్టఫ్ లేకుండా ఏం చేస్తావు? పోతావు అంటావు. వాడేస్తే 4 క్వశ్చన్లు వేస్తాడు, మనం ఏదో ఎరిమాగు వేసుకొని కూర్చుంటాం. తర్వాత హెచ్ఆర్ విల్ గెట్ బ్యాక్ టు యూ. డోంట్ వెయిట్ ఫర్ హెచ్ఆర్ కాల్. దాన్ని బట్టి ఏమర్థం అవుతుందో తెలుసు, అబ్బాయి మాకు నువ్వు సూటబుల్ కాదురా, నీకు ఎవడో ఒకడు ఉంటా లేపు ఆడబో అంటాడు. అవునా కదా? సింపుల్. ఓకే, సో ఈవెన్ లేడీస్ నిప్పుల మీద కూర్చున్నట్టుగా కూర్చోవద్దు. ఓకే, సమ్ టైమ్స్ మీకు మధ్యలో కొద్ది ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్ ఉంటుంది, మధ్యలో అయ్యి ఆ కోర్ జావా కవర్ అవుతుంది, ఆ అడ్వాన్స్ జావా కవర్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, ప్లీజ్. ఎందుకంటే ఎస్కేప్ చేసి ఓరం తిప్పి కొడితే 45 నిమిషాలు చెప్పేస్తా, ఇబ్బంది లేదు. కాకపోతే యూజ్లెస్. అలా నేను చేయను. నేను ఏదైనా టు బి ఆనెస్ట్ ఉంటా. ఏదో కొంత ఐ వాంట్ టు షేర్. అలా షేర్ చేస్తే మీ జీవితాలు బాగుపడతాయి, నా జీవితం కూడా బాగుపడింది నరేష్ ఐడిలో. అర్థమవుతుందా? రైట్. ఓకే, జస్ట్ జోకింగ్, ప్లీజ్ డోంట్ మిస్అండర్స్టాండ్. ఇది ఒకరు ఎత్తబడ్డారు మళ్ళీ ఆన్లైన్లో. సర్లే, మీ బాధ అర్థం చేసుకుంటున్నా. ఇదేదో దాన్ని చూపించేసి సైబర్ నెట్ ఓఆర్ఎం ప్రాపర్టీస్ మీకు కూడా దండం పెట్టి వదిలేస్తా. ఓకే, రండి. ప్యాకేజీ ఓకే. ద డయాలెక్ట్ నేమ్స్ ఈజ్ వాట్? Oracle dialect. See, don't separate. This is the single name, but different words are there, but each word starting character should be uppercase. Okay, Oracle dialect. నేను ఎలాగైతే రాస్తున్నాను మీరు అలాగే రాసుకోండి. వాట్? Oracle dialect. Even in the Oracle there is a different versions are there. Version based also the dialects are different. Okay, common dialect I am sharing. Okay, MySQL suppose 8 version, even I sharing with what? MySQL 8 version dialect. 8 version dialect. Okay, even Sybase also database, right? Sybase dialect. I already given for version related one, MySQL, right? It should be like that. Okay, right. Sybase dialect. Okay, maybe if you are working with what? DB2 database, right? DB2 is one of the database, you know, as Oracle. DB2 dialect, because I'm frequently using that word DB2, Postgres, right? These are also databases. That's what I'm telling. Okay, these are what? Dialects. Example I given here. Okay, Right. Some hibernate, some other properties also let me share. Okay, very short. Another 2 or 3 minutes. I don't want to take much time. Okay, right. Let me cover just 2, 3 features are there. What? Format SQL. Format -SQL. Lowercase only written. Format SQL. Format SQL what? It returns what? Boolean data type. Boolean data type. The default value is what? False. This is what? Default value. In the interview room also they asked here. Looks like what? See, what is the default value of the format -SQL property? If they ask, you should be in a position to answer. If you want to format that SQL queries, its meaning. Okay. If you want to format the SQL, the default value is what? No, that means false. If you want to format, then you have to mention what? True. Okay, na? Right. Sir, I want to see my SQL query on my IDE console. IDE console, right? Any Eclipse or maybe any IDE you are using, STS or whatever it is, there is output you can see, right? In that that part is called as what? Console. In that console, I want to see how that ORM generating the queries, SQL queries. I want to see. Even there is a property. That property name called what? Show SQL. Even the show SQL also what? Boolean data type. Boolean values only returning. Its a default value is what? False. It won't be show the SQL queries in console. If you want to see, then this value should be make it as what? True. Clear? Okay. Show SQL. I think I didn't give the clarification. Huh? Okay, let me give. Show, sorry, format SQL purpose is what? It will print. Yes, I explained, but I didn't return that one. That's what I'm writing. It will print query class, query class, query class, query class by class. Spelling mistake, same. Okay. And show SQL purpose is what? Show SQL purpose is what? To display generated SQL queries on console or what? Log file. Okay. Log file. Then we have to use this property and make it as what? True. See, double quotes, no need, but I highlighted. Even that previous property also you have to use same. For what? Format SQL 2. Okay, next other one. Another 2 or 3 minutes here. Okay, please. There is other class also, right? Yeah. Okay. There is important property HBM2 DDL dot auto. HBM to DDL dot auto. What it is meaning? HBM stands for HB stands for hibernate mapping. HB hibernate mapping to DDL data definition language. what are the keys are there? What are the operations we can perform by using DDL? Creating the table, altering the table, modifying the table, deleting the table, dropping the table. Yes or no? This is database related, yes. But even though by using our code, it can be able to create the table automatically. Yesterday we created, right? There is some script you did. Yes or no? Schema.sql, yesterday's example. But here I don't want to do like that. I just configured HBM2DTL.auto equal to true. Then automatically it can be generated what? Our table. Okay. Right. HBM2DDL. That is what? Hibernate mapping. Then HBM stands for Hibernate mapping to automate DDL. Clear? Clear? Okay. Then how we are going to use this one, sir? Simple. HBM2 DDL, okay, dot auto equal to what? You can provide what? Create. It means what? Creating the table or updating the table or what? Validating the table, even validate also. Okay, properly that is structured or that schema designed or not. If you want to validate the table, then you can use, but don't apply all. It means what? You can use either create, or either you can use what? Update, or either you can use what? Validate, or maybe you can use what? Create hyphen what? Drop. You can use this. Okay, right. ఇంతే సంగతులు ఇట్లు చెత్తగించుకోవాలి.